While Elon Musk is constantly in the news, the success of his space company SpaceX is not solely due to his efforts. Behind the scenes, Gwynne Shotwell, the company's president and chief operating officer, is in charge. Gwynne Shotwell was one of the first dozen employees hired by Space Exploration Technologies Corp in 2002. As president of the industry's leading rocket manufacturer, she now serves as an important counterpoint and buffer for its chairman, Elon Musk. Shotwell manages SpaceX and assists Musk in controlling his irrational behavior. Musk is the slightly insane genius leader who is always coming up with new, innovative ideas, and Shotwell is the steady engineer and researcher who makes his visions a reality. Make sure to watch until the end, because we're about to talk about Elon Musk's secret weapon and right-hand woman at SpaceX, Gwynne Shotwell, and how Elon Musk persuaded her to join SpaceX. Gwynne Shotwell is a businesswoman and engineer from the United States. She is the president and chief operating officer of SpaceX, an American space transportation company, and is in charge of day-to-day operations as well as company growth. Shotwell was the middle of three daughters born to a brain surgeon and an artist in Evanston, Illinois. She remembers watching a television broadcast of the Apollo 11 mission with her family in 1969, but she found it boring and was not interested in space at the time. Her interests shifted during high school after her mother took her to a panel discussion hosted by the Society of Women Engineers at the Illinois Institute of Technology, where a mechanical engineer in particular inspired Shotwell to pursue a career in engineering. Gwynne Shotwell worked with Hans Koenigsmann at Microcosm, a much smaller company in Southern California, before becoming one of SpaceX's two primary leaders. Later, Shotwell celebrated Koenigsmann's new job at SpaceX in May 2002 by taking him out to lunch. Koenigsmann invited Shotwell inside to check out his new digs. "Just come in and meet Elon," he advised. The unplanned meeting lasted only 10 minutes, but Shotwell was impressed by Musk's knowledge of the aerospace industry. He had identified the industry's problems and proposed a solution. Shotwell nodded as Musk discussed his plans to reduce launch costs by building his own rocket engine and developing other key components in-house. This made sense to Shotwell, who had worked in aerospace for over a decade and was familiar with its stable rate. During their brief conversation, she mentioned that the company should probably hire someone to sell the small single-engine Falcon 1 rocket on a full-time basis. Musk decided later that afternoon that he should hire someone full-time. He created the position of vice president of sales and encouraged Shotwell to apply. "It was a huge risk and I almost didn't go," she explained. "I think I probably annoyed Elon because it took me so long." Finally, opportunity knocked, and she answered. Shotwell's final decision was based on a simple calculation. "Look, I'm in this business," she thought at the time, "and do I want this company to continue as it is, or do I want it to go in the direction Elon wants it to go?" As a result, she accepted both the challenge and the risk that Musk displayed to her. After weeks of deliberating whether to stay or go, Shotwell finally called Musk while driving through Los Angeles towards Pasadena on a freeway. Musk may not have realized it at the time, but he had just made arguably the most important hire for the company. Shotwell got the offer 2 weeks later. She was promoted to company president in December 2008, following her role in the successful negotiation of the first commercial resupply services contract with NASA, which was enabled by SpaceX's first successful Falcon 1 launch on its fourth attempt earlier that year. She was in charge of leading the effort to expand Falcon vehicle manifest to more than 50 launches, generating $5 billion in revenue. This included establishing a commercial connection to the International Space Station for resupply services, allowing them to deliver cargo and supplies to the astronauts. She and Musk are both unique and similar. He's blunt and awkward at times, while she's all smiles and smooth talk. But beneath their differing facades, they are simpatico, sharing the same fearless philosophy of charging headlong into the industry, seeking to shape it in their image. By accepting Musk's job offer, Shotwell was able to break free from the constraints of a more traditional aerospace company. On her first day, she set about developing a strategy for selling the Falcon 1 rocket to both the US government and small satellite customers. Shotwell sat in the cubicle farm at 1310 East Grand in El Segundo, writing a sales strategy. She then compiled a list of previous industry contacts and people she thought might be interested in the small launch vehicle. Shotwell didn't have a rocket ready to launch, but she did have good timing. The military was interested in what Shotwell was selling when she joined SpaceX in September 2002. DARPA began requesting industry bids for the small rocket program in May 2003 and received 24 responses. Walker selected 9 grants totaling approximately $500,000 for design studies. While some awards were given to large corporations such as Lockheed Martin, the majority were given to smaller companies such as SpaceX. Finally, SpaceX and Air Launch emerged as finalists, with the latter aiming to drop its rocket from a C-17 aircraft. Air Launch never made it into space. When Sally Ride became the first American woman to fly into space in 1983, she was hesitant to serve as a role model for girls. She later explained in an interview how she came to terms with her position. Young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they choose so that they can imagine themselves doing those jobs someday, Ride said. You can't be something you can't see. Shotwell had a similar engineering experience. Gwynne was 5 years old when her father gathered her and her siblings around the television to watch the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. She has hazy memories of the experience, recalling it as rather boring and not as appealing as the children's shows she had previously seen. The rest of the Apollo program passed by her unnoticed, never piquing her interest in science. She was in charge of the first landing of an orbital rocket's first stage on land and an ocean platform, the first relaunch and landing of a used orbital rocket, the first controlled flyback and recovery of a payload fairing, and the first reflight of a commercial cargo spacecraft. NASA has awarded SpaceX a multi-billion-dollar contract to deliver astronauts and scientific instruments to the International Space Station. SpaceX is the first private company to launch 2 astronauts into Earth orbit on May 30th, 2020. Shotwell is the bridge between Elon and the staff, says Koenigsmann. Elon says, "Let's go to Mars," and she says, "Okay, what do we need to get there?" Gwynne Shotwell stands out as a star in an industry with few female role models. Under Shotwell's leadership, SpaceX developed at a rapid pace, eventually becoming the world's largest satellite carrier. Over the years, Shotwell has earned a reputation as the person who could translate Musk's visions into reality. Forbes ranks Gwynne Shotwell as the 49th most powerful woman in the world of 2020. She was also named to Time magazine's list of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2020. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.